Listening Part 4 News Item Tips and Strategies. How to listen effectively. Listen in full sentence mode, not vocabulary mode. This will help you understand ideas more than specific words. Avoid focusing too much on vocabulary. Vocabulary is useful and important, but only for some specific questions. Listen and repeat ideas in your mind. This will help you absorb information and keep it clearly. You can take notes while you listen. You will be given a notepad, so this can help you keep information more. You can write notes in your language. The notes will not be graded. Make sure writing doesn't interfere with listening. Imagine the news. Imagining the news visually can help you better understand the report. What would you do if you had the same experience? This can help you understand better. What information to focus on? Understand the topic of the news. This will help you understand the details more. What was the report mainly talking about? What did the news mainly focus on? Understand specific details of the news. It is important to understand specific details of the news. Where did it happen? When did it happen? Who was involved? Why did it happen? How did it happen? And what effect will this have? Focus on ideas more than vocabulary. This will help you understand the questions and answers clearer. Ideas are related to the main report. Specific words will only confuse the answers. Vocabulary association. Try to connect words. Associate them. This will help you retain ideas better. Okay, so here we are in a listening part 4 sample from the CELPIP website. And you can see here it says a news item about a bear problem. Okay, so we just want to practice our listening guide, which is as we listen, we should be repeating ideas in our mind or taking notes, and what kind of information we should listen for. So let's listen.
Residents living on the outskirts of Chapel Hill are being asked to put a tight lid on their garbage because of an increase in black bear sightings. Parks and Wildlife official Gary Hampton explains that the recent heat wave has dried up several of the black bear's natural food sources, such as berry bushes and fishing streams, and has forced the bears to seek food near urban areas.
So in here, I should have written that this is a news report about bears taking garbage or coming into the residents' house's garbage. And also I should say that already it's something to do with the heat is making the bears come in to the city.
Hampton warns residents of Chapel Hill that garbage provides a variety of appetizing foods for a hungry bear, and the best way to avoid problems with bears in the backyard is to keep garbage cans in the garage or in the house until they can be collected by city workers.
So here I should have that a good way to stop this from happening is to keep the garbage inside the house.
A local resident, Sandra Nelson, complains that keeping her garbage in the house is not an acceptable solution. Yet, what smells bad to most people can be very appetizing to a hungry bear. The aroma of garbage can attract bears from far away, so if residents must put their garbage outside, Hampton advises people to purchase the animal-proof garbage cans.
So this lady said that keeping the garbage outside is not a good solution. So purchase, then it was said, a special kind of garbage container.
These cans have lids that are difficult for animals to remove. Not only do the cans keep the animals away from the garbage, but they also keep the garbage smells from attracting the animals.
So that's a good way to um, make sure the bears don't reach your garbage. Reading the questions. Read and repeat the question to better understand it. Focus on what part of the news the question is related to. Focus on the key words of the question. Focus on the specific part the question is asking. Make sure to understand the connection between the question and the news. The questions are usually related to the overall news topic. Focus on the overall message. Specific details of the news. Selecting the answers. Focus on grammar. Often answers are confused by providing similar ideas but not the correct grammar tense. For example, present, past, future, and present perfect. Modals can confuse even more. Could, may, might, should, would, have to, and need to, and must suggest different ideas. Focus on opposite ideas. Often answers are confused by providing similar ideas to the dialogue, but for opposite people or opposite ideas. Focus on vocabulary association. Often answers are confused by providing similar words to the listening, but don't connect to the question or have different meanings. Answers can have synonyms to the listening, so think of similar words. Focus on meaning, specifically for indirect answers. Some answers require understanding of the complete context of the conversation more than specific information. So we should understand what the speakers are suggesting. Sometimes sentences can mean more than the words we hear. For example, expressions, idioms, and slang. So after you listen to the news, in here we have next in the sample, but in the real exam, you will automatically go to the questions, and here they are. So according to our guide, yes, we should be focusing on the main part of the question, the black bears here, the current problem, the wildlife official, according to him, the local resident, and the city is providing residents. So those key words will relate directly to the context of the report. Okay, now when we look at the answers, so we have 4 answers here, and we're looking at them: disrupting traffic in town, threatening people in parks, being seen closer to town, hiding in urban areas. Now, I remember I heard lots of these words. Okay. I heard urban areas, I heard town, scene, I heard, maybe I didn't hear the word threatening, but I can assume something related to that. I heard parks. And also, we can assume, or maybe the bears are disrupting somehow. So, we have all that information. The key for when we look at the answers is to first, even if we heard the word urban, was it hiding in urban areas? What we heard, the full idea. And furthermore, was it black bears are hiding in urban areas? Many lower level students will choose this answer just because they heard the word urban. That's why it's so important to try to associate vocabulary while we listen. So we should try to hear more than just urban. So when we choose the answers, we can avoid that. Or maybe it was hiding in urban areas. Similarly, I have here this answer: threatening people in parks. Now, this answer is a little bit, maybe it's for a higher level mistake, because in here, some higher level students, they could assume the word threatening because they heard the vocabulary or they heard the topic about the bears and the bears going into the garbage of city residents. They can assume the word threatening, or up here the word disrupting. We can think the bears are doing that. But even though we heard or we can think of those words related to the topic, we still need to keep in mind vocabulary association. Was it threatening people in parks? Was it disrupting traffic in town? I remember, well, I can assume, for example, the bears or black bears are threatening to people. Yes, for sure. But I don't remember them saying that the bears were threatening people in parks. I remember it talking about maybe threatening people in their homes, in their houses, because they are going to the garbage. Similarly, up here, I have disrupting, and I think the bears, if they are coming into the city, they are going to be disrupting and maybe even disrupting traffic in town. But I don't really remember something being said about the bears disrupting traffic. So, in general, that's what we need to do when we try to select answers. Let's not select answers just because we heard the word urban or town or parks. And similarly, not just because we can assume that the bears are disrupting or threatening. We need to look at the full idea to decide the answers. That is the end of listening part 4 news item tips and strategies.